Lumen Field, it is the only place to be today as the Seahawks host the Rams in the NFC Championship game. The fans are pouring in. 68,000 plus will be on hand for this playoff matchup that will lead to Super Bowl 60. Good afternoon. Alongside Chris Egan, I'm Paul Silvi from the Lumen Field Event Center. We're excited about this NFC Championship matchup. Chris, let's just get right to the inactives and actives because there's a little update here.
Well, this place is buzzing today, Paul. I was on the field for a couple hours just moments ago, and I mean, you can feel the energy out there. And when it comes to inactives, much different story than last week. We were talking about Sam Darnold, his oblique injury. Would he play? Would he not play? Well, you look at the inactives. Elijah Arroyo, the tight end, was activated from injured reserve, but he is inactive today. So that's really only the big name on the Seahawks. He won't be playing at tight end, but you got A.J. Barner. As for the Rams, well, I think it's been a story all week long. They are healthy. There is no major names on that inactive list for the Rams.
Yeah,
as we
that's
get ready.
something to say about that team, especially coming off that Chicago freezing cold win they had in overtime against the Bears. And the last time they had a matchup with the Seahawks, they weren't the healthiest bunch. So the Rams come into this one, maybe the healthier team, but certainly an even matchup because these two teams are very even when it comes to all the numbers. All right, the second game of the series this year in Seattle, we talk a lot about this matchup. Matthew Stafford threw for 457 yards, a number of them explosive plays, particularly to Puka Nacua, who caught 12 balls for 225 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Seahawks defense now realizes what was happening that night and is ready to adjust.
Yeah, has speed and he's strong. He's a strong receiver. He's good after the catch, and he's efficient in his route running, and so you just need to know where he's at all the time. I think the story of the second game was really just not executing. Defensively, we had a good plan in, but we didn't execute to our fullest, and so that we know that.
We need to get our cleats in the ground, understand what we're doing, understand where our keys are, and get ready to play. I think if we can do that, we can be way more successful in situations. You've got to understand the down and distance you're in. You've got to understand how you work together and all these things. And sometimes I've got to put the guys in a better position. There's mixes of things but we do say pressure and hits do matter. They matter. So you've just got to keep pressing, and it will come. You don't chase sacks, you just got to rush, and that's how it works.
Well, the first two games have been decided by a total of just 3 points. In game one, Seahawks had 414 total yards to the Rams 249. Seattle was very efficient on third down. They were 7 for 16. Hawks had the ball for nearly 38 minutes, but 4 turnovers did them in that game. The Rams found an answer for Seattle's defense in game two, 581 total yards. Seattle had 3 more turnovers in that game. 7 Seahawks turnovers, 6 of them Sam Darnold interceptions in 2 games. It can't happen today.
They do a lot of really good things defensively. Just their scheme's really good. Coach Shula, those guys do a really good job of coaching those guys up on what to do, and the players make it come to life, with certain disguises and pressures. They're a really good team, really good defense, and play really hard. Being smart with the football is always at a premium. I gotta take care of the football at the end of the day, and that's where my mind's at. But if we get the right coverage and the right play, and I feel like the guy's open, I'm gonna let it rip.
We've heard it all week long. We've heard it all season long, Paul. Take care of the football. Sam Darnold needs to not throw interceptions. That's true, but let's also keep in mind, back in the 2021 season, Matthew Stafford led the NFL in interceptions. Guess what happened in 2021? The Rams ended up winning the Super Bowl that season. So, yes, you do need to take care of the ball, but both these quarterbacks today, if they are asked to, they're going to throw it downfield and try to get some points on the board. And the Seahawks defense, obviously, in the end, is going to take care of business.
Yeah, well, the one thing that we've been talking about that takes the load off of Sam Darnold and that arm of his and some of his receivers is the fact you get that running the football is going to help him out a lot. We know what happened to Zach Charbonnet. They're missing him for the rest of the season, obviously, with his ACL injury. But, they still have Ken Walker, so part of that 1-2 punch is in it. Let's go to Ariel Arsuto now inside Lumen Field.
The Seahawks lost Zach Charbonnet earlier this week, and he's really more of the 1B running back rather than the backup, but they still have their 1A in Kenneth Walker. And he really has been breaking out since the last time these guys met, back in week 16, averaging 91 yards per game and 4 touchdowns in those last 4 games. And his team is confident in his increased workload.
You've seen the results in the past X amount of weeks now of the result of, like, we always use a term, but really like stacking all those reps. I thought this is the most decisive he's ran up to this point, and as expected, you just keep getting better and keep finding ways to improve, and especially in the run game, and he's done a great job.
I think the communication's at an all-time high. Sharbs is obviously really good, really smart with protections and all those things. So just getting everyone, glued into what we need to do and how we communicate up front, and going from there.
The Rams have the 12th best run defense in the league, right around middle of the pack. They give up about 4.3 runs per carry. Walker averages 4.6.
Well, running the ball will be key today, Paul. Ken Walker, he's been great at the end of the season. The offensive line has been very effective. The big key today, Paul, though, is Zach Charbonnet not in this game. 12 touchdowns this season for the Seahawks. It's been a great, and I hate to say it, it's not a 1-2 punch. It's been a 1A, 1B punch with this run game. Not having Charbonnet, I think, is going to be, it's going to hurt this team. We'll see how Walker steps up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that Rams defense keys on Walker to see if they can kind of take him out of his game for sure. We've been inside Lumen Field Event Center here. You can see the fans behind us slowly filing their way over to get inside the stadium, and Drew Mickelson has been with some fans outside. Drew?
All right, getting closer to game time. People are starting to head in and take their seats. We're here with Chris and Jonathan.
Absolutely.
Chris, you feeling good?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling confident. I think we got the best of them the last game. It's going to be a closely battled, contested game, but I think we're going to take it 27-24.
All right. Now, Jonathan, the Rams, they scare me a little bit. That Puka, he's good. What are they going to do? How are they going to control him?
We're going to lock Puka down. I'm not too worried about Puka. Puka shells break, and so we're going to take care of Puka. It's going to be an easy. Hawks for the win. I'm going 31-28. Let's go. Let's go, Hawks.
I love it. You guys are heading in soon?
We're heading into the game.
All right. Finish your beverages, zip up your coats, make some noise.
Salute. Hey, welcome to the dark side. Go Hawks! Go Hawks, baby!
I love it. Well, I hope the Rams don't have King 5 Plus on in their locker room, because you gave them a little bit of
we love Canada!
bulletin board material there. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, you heard the dark side there, Paul. I was inside the stadium. A lot of fans dressed up as Darth Vader today. So last week against the 49ers, just one fan. I've already seen 5 Darth Vaders in there. So that's a good sign there. Another big matchup today is the coaches. You have 2 of the youngest coaches in the NFL going head-to-head. These are incredible coaches, Sean McVay and Mike Macdonald. Heard a story about Mike Macdonald, somebody you've had the pleasure to talk with every week this year on King 5. But Mike Macdonald was going to the University of Georgia, wanted to become a business major, but he got a calling. He said, I'm going to go coach a freshman high school team as a volunteer. Thought he was going to be a big star businessman, started coaching this high school team, fell in love with football. That's the rest of the story.
Yeah, I mean, he is something else, man. His players call him a defensive genius, and I don't think that's too far off. You mentioned he's 38 years old. Sean McVay celebrating his 40th birthday this weekend. So they are right there, 2 very sharp minds in this game. And, shortly after the Seahawks hired Mike Macdonald, he had his first team meeting with the players. And, some of that video has been out there on social, the fact that he basically wanted his players to envision the fact that they would be hosting the NFC Championship game. And here they are just 2 years after he took over in this big game. We asked Mike Macdonald, has the players and the team come together as he envisioned?
Well, I think the vision we had for our team and really our organization is on its way. I think part of that vision is that we want to evolve consistently, and it's kind of where this living, breathing organism that's going to grow together. But what I remember, the reason on why I shared that with the team was because I wanted them to feel what our team would feel like at that point. And at that point, we're sitting each other and we didn't know, we're starting from absolutely square zero, and to realize hey, look, this is a long-term, adventure that we're going to have to take together, and the daily inputs is what's, going to get us there. And I think the things that we were describing in that, in that video or in that meeting is really coming to life, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, they clearly have embraced it for sure with the success that you've had. Let's talk about the players for a minute. A lot of guys come in here in their rookie season and everything's going so fast. They say things slow down in their second year. Is that true as a head coach?
No doubt. Last year was that was a heck of a year. I mean, there's a lot of things going on, and talking to some of the guys that are eligible to be head coaches this year, it's like, man, I actually have advice for these people, which is kind of crazy, But I think you realize there's so much that you don't know, and you do need to lean on people that can see outside of the the absolute the fire hose that you're drinking out of. So John was so helpful. Leslie was super helpful, and then you're able to take kind of a breath at the end of the season, and really kind of hone in on what we're trying to build. And you can use that time to invest into the team rather than just get everything started. And it's been a fun process, man. It really has. And we got great people to work with, and really blessed to be a part of it.
So in this second season, did you do anything to change your routine to improve as a coach?
I actually think I'm here less, which is, I wish some of our coaches took that as well. But, on Thursdays, I don't get to see Jack throughout the week as much. So Thursdays I try to get, which is today, I try to get home pretty quick to be with him for maybe a half hour before he goes to bed. And then I got a setup at my house where I can go, and then I work on the game plan. But it's able to spend some more time at home and be with Jack. And also it kind of lets you kind of get away from everything and kind of see things from a different perspective. And it keeps you fresh, so it's been helpful.
You just finished preparing to face the 49ers for a third time this season. Now you get the Rams for a third time this season. Is there anything that you can draw from that first time preparing for a team for the third matchup that you can apply to this matchup?
I think so. I think that now that's evidence to say, hey, look, we don't need to really overthink this thing. We have good scheme. We have good answers. Our guys know how to do kind of, our A's and B's, our core competencies, and we got to go trust our guys. So we can't be going to reinvent a whole new scheme going into the third game just because it's the third game. And so that's kind of how we're going to attack the week and keep it about us at the end of the day, and let's go play a football game.
Let's stick with the Rams for a sec. Quarterback Matthew Stafford is known for getting rid of the ball quickly. When you talk about a guy like that and you start talking about pressuring a quarterback versus sacking a quarterback, does the pressuring become more of the measurable on this thing?
I feel a little vindicated on my overrated sack stat, now that we haven't sacked Stafford, I think this year. You need to affect the quarterback. So whether it's through pressure or giving him different looks or, getting a pressure that gets home or winning a rush, and now you can, get him on the ground. There's different ways to do it, but you can't just let him sit back there and bake cakes and play 7-on-7 all day. He's going to tear you apart no matter who he is. And especially a guy like Stafford, he's such a great player. You have to change the looks up on him. You have to try to make him second guess himself, which is definitely easier said than done because he's pretty much seen everything. So it's a tall task, but it's a fun challenge to work on it throughout the week.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, congrats on all your success as well, and we'll see you on Sunday. Thanks, Coach.
Great. Thanks, Paul.
Well, you hear Mike McDonald talk about Matthew Stafford. He's coming up on the show to talk about this big game. Cliff Averill as well, and the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel, talking Rams. And just around the corner. Stay with us. Once again this week, the 12 flag flies above the city. Last week, it was Big Walt and Lofa Tatupu. This week, Cliff Averill was atop the Space Needle for the flag-raising duties. The former Hawks defensive end says the team is poised to win it all.
Defense wins championships. That's what we know around here, right? So the better these guys play, the more I like our odds as far as for being able to go all the way. Every level, there's playmakers. Every level. We talk about the D-line. You talk about the linebackers in Jones. You look at the back end with Love and Witherspoon and my man Egan, the rookie that's just, you can play him everywhere, right? So, and everybody does their job great. You know what I mean? Nobody's trying to do too much. No one needs the spotlight. Everybody's good at what they need to be good at to make sure this defense plays at a high level. And that's what we had, honestly. We had a bunch of guys that were great at what they needed to be great at and wasn't trying to do too much. Played within the scheme.
Cliff going with E-Man. It's Eamon Warry is the name you need to know, Paul, because he has been everywhere and he has been very effective for this Hawks defense.
Yeah, I love the way that Cliff Averill and some of those other Seahawk greats are still involved with the organization and keeping track of these guys. They know where the talent is for sure. Every week we get to talk to the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel, on the fifth quarter. Here's his take on the Rams.
You're up against another really, really good offensive mind in Sean McVay, and he finds a way to take advantage of what you do. And so what we like to do is we like to run a lot of shell defense. We generally have nickel in there all the time because Eamon Moore, he can play all those other positions. He can line up at an outside linebacker. He can be a safety. He can do all those things. And McVay will try to take advantage of that, and he will try to isolate especially a guy like Puka Nacua, who he did the second time we played. Puka Nacua had, 250 yards or some ridiculous number against us in a game that we won, which was amazing. But that's what he does. And Stafford is really good at getting the ball out of his hands. Stafford has to get the ball out of his hands because he's too old to run. He's almost as old as I am. So he's not going to take off and scramble. He'll step up in the pocket. He can move a little bit side to side, but he's going to get the ball out of his hands quickly.
Speaking of Matthew Stafford, here are his numbers for the regular season. 300 yards short of 5,000 yards. He's having a great season. 46 touchdowns to just 8 interceptions. Stafford is a leading MVP candidate and ready for his second trip to the Super Bowl.
You just got to go out there and execute. I mean, that's the biggest part of this is, we can talk about all the other stuff, but, we got to be hitting blocks correctly. We got to, read our run keys and run the ball effectively. I got to put the ball in a good spot for our guys to go make plays. Got to separate, get open, and make plays. So, I think when you go into a battle like this where you have a defense that's playing at the level that they're playing at, you got to tighten the screws that much more. Go out there and when you have the opportunity to make the plays, try to make them. If they're not there, how do we, not make a bad play worse? All those kind of things is just quarterbacking one-on-one for me, and just trying to, keep us moving in the right direction.
A lot of people all week long have talked about their keys to the game, getting to Stafford. Easier said than done, Paul. Stafford only sacked 23 times this season. Stafford is among the top quarterbacks in the NFL at allowing fewer than 15% of his pressured dropbacks to result in sacks. He knows how to get rid of that ball before he gets hit.
Yeah, it's tough to get to him for sure, and we're going to find out just how much success the Seahawks defense can have against Matthew Stafford tonight. He does have a few more weapons this time around than he did last. Ariel Ursuto joins us from inside the stadium.
Matthew Stafford will have his full arsenal out there today. Devontae Adams is back. He missed last game. He's a 3-time All-Pro wide receiver. He led the league with 14 touchdowns on only 60 catches, and that's with missing 3 games.
Tremendous. He's a great player, and I think what says as much, the game the other day was unique. It was good to be able to get his feet wet, made some key and critical plays against Carolina. But then you look at last week, it's like, all right, hey, competitive greatness, be at your best when your best is required. You look at the leverage that he had, from Nashawn Wright on that 12-yard catch that he made. It was unbelievable. Not a great play call, but he and Matthew just made it right.
I think it'll be a confidence boost for our entire team. Obviously, we've had him here these past 2 weeks, but the ability to feel like we have all of our bullets. We're confident whatever 11 step on the field, blue and yellow, that we can go out there and get the job done. But obviously to have number 17 is going to be a huge advantage for us, and then also just to have him out there, to see him in the huddle, it's a confidence boost for everybody around him.
He'll be paired up with Puka Nacua, the guy who led the league in receptions and the one who gashed the Seahawks for 225 yards in Week 16.
Man, we heard Julian Love earlier in the show talking about the Seahawks defense correcting the mistakes they made last time around when Nacua got 225 yards.
I was looking at the highlights from that game, and I mentioned Puka Nacua's name like 12 times in those highlights. Yeah, we need less of that today.
Yeah, he's very good after the catch for sure. All right, Drew Mickelson is among the fans still. Drew, we'll throw it back out to you.
Well, the cold weather has not scared any Seahawks fans from getting out here early. We are here with Tasha and Derek and Mac. Tasha, what are your feelings right now?
I'm just so excited. I just can't wait for the game to start.
And this is not your first rodeo.
Oh, absolutely not.
How
We're
early?
getting better and better every time we come. Our setup gets bigger and better every time.
And is this as much fun as the game, or is it about
It's
the same?
funner than the game. This is where to be.
Well, you guys are definitely already winning the tailgate. Derek, you've been doing this, you said, since Kingdom?
We've been coming out here for years and years. Since before we won the Super Bowl, it used to be packed down here like this, every game.
We used to come out and tailgate with the Beast Bus when they used to be on Hawk Alley.
Oh, okay.
That's what got us all started, honestly. Yeah.
And it's cold, doesn't matter.
Does not matter.
We've been here since Friday.
We got here
guys.
Friday
We
night.
have been
We
here
set
since
up.
Friday. The cold does not keep us away.
And you're hoping you stay here late into the night and keep the party going?
We'll keep it till after the game. We got the TV going. Come down and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then we'll be in Santa Clara in a couple weeks.
Okay, game
Hopefully
prediction.
we're going to take a road trip to Santa Clara.
Oh,
and
you can
tailgate
take-
there
all right.
too.
Well, we'll look for you down there. Maybe it'll be a little bit warmer. Game predictions, you got scores?
I say 28-17. Hawks.
All right.
Yeah, go Seahawks.
That'd be nice. They are ready and ready to roar. Back to you guys.
All right, the countdown to kickoff continues. When we come back, we'll hear from Cooper Kupp. Stay with us. It was a wild time the last time the Seahawks played in the NFC Championship. It had a little bit of everything, including the game-winning touchdown in overtime against the Packers. Russell Wilson hit Jermaine Curtis with a 35-yard strike and a 28-22 win to send them to Super Bowl 49.
Yeah, that game was, a roller coaster of emotions, staring at adversity in the face for most of the game, and then being able to kind of overcome and, end up making the game-winning touchdown to send our team to the Super Bowl was a really cool moment, yeah.
And if the Seahawks could find a way to get the win today, Paul, it's back to the Super Bowl to face off against the Patriots, a team we remember losing to. So little redemption, but you got to take care of business today first before you start thinking about the Patriots.
Yeah, I think a lot of Seahawks fans would love another shot at that organization for sure. Let's go inside Lumen Field again with Ariel Ursuto.
A story so good, it could have been scripted. Cooper Kupp faces off against his former team of 8 years in his first season with the Seahawks. But he says that's just one of 53 stories.
That's the great thing about football. It's all these guys have different stories, and we all get to play for one another. I mean, it's a powerful thing when all 50 guys are playing for a why, playing for their purpose. But it's even more powerful when you're playing for the guys next to you, and you're playing for the people that are lining up alongside you. And that's what I'm excited about is the guys that are in this room that, man, you want to go out there and win for.
Much of Kupp's story has been marred by moments of injury along the way, including an ACL tear in the 2018 season, missing the chance to help his Rams against the Patriots in a Super Bowl loss. But at the age of 32, he's showing his new team his best ability, availability.
Well, I mean, are you surprised that the guy has put himself in position to play great football? Not one bit. I mean, we've had a plan for him, I think probably earlier in his career, the amount of workload he put in on a daily basis, I think that might have taken a toll on him, but he's been really smart on, Sam and the guys have done a great job of managing his reps. And when he's been out there, he's going, 100 miles an hour. So I'm not surprised.
Elsewhere, his fellow receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba is up for Offensive Player of the Year at the NFL Honors. He was held to a season-low 19 yards last week, but just under 100 yards in the last meeting with the Rams. From Lumen Field, Ariel Ursuto, King 5 Sports.
Well, Chris, we know that this Seahawks team has its own weapons, and there are several keys to this game tonight.
Yeah, I think when you look at keys to the game, Paul, I think a lot of people are going to sit there and focus on Matthew Stafford and Sam Darnold. I'm not going to just pencil on those two quarterbacks. They're going to be obviously big factors in this game, but number one for me, the Seahawks need to stay with the Rams in the first half. You cannot let them get that 16-point lead like we saw them do back in December. Of course, it was a historic comeback, but a lot of things had to come together for that historic comeback. You get a 2-point conversion. You get the 2-point conversion where it was the lateral. Then you get the 2-point conversion in overtime. So it's going to take a lot to get that. So let's not let them get that lead. Zach Charbonnet out. I still think the Seahawks need to run the ball. Set the tone, run the ball, win it in the trenches early, pound them, pound them, pound them. Ken Walker, which will open up some play action for A.J. Barner, Jackson Smith-Njigba, little Cooper Kupp as well. Last for me, and it should be number one, the Seahawks team is where they're at this season, Paul, because of the defense. The defense needs to have a monster game today. We cannot see Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua throwing the ball, going down the field. Defense needs to step up and have a big day. They've been doing it all season. Why not one more time get them to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, last time these two teams met, that defense made some mistakes, and they left a lot of plays out on that field. And I'll take this a step further. Sean McVay and Mike McDonald are two of the bright young minds in the NFL today. And I think this is a meeting of the minds, a bit of a chess game between these two guys because, as you know, throughout this game, they're going to have to make adjustments on the fly. They can go into halftime, make some adjustments when they come out. They're going to have to make adjustments throughout the second half. So it's thinking on your feet and being sharp with your calls.
Well,